My unit, salute! Amped up to 2125. We got another jacked, packed, stacked, amped up for you on tap today. A lot of good stories, discussions, conversations. We're going to talk Shane McMahon and Tony Khan. Inside details on their meeting and why we never heard another damn thing about it. What Shane wanted from AEW. And you guys can decipher if he was asking too much or Tony should have just said yes. We'll talk about it. The Rock. We're going to talk The Rock coming back to WWE tonight. He has already stated he is going to be in New Orleans. Hunter Hearst Helmsley probably rolling out the red carpet because ratings were getting rocky. So when the ratings get rocky, you bring in Dwayne. I'm pretty sure Dwayne told them he was showing up. But the USA Network, man, numbers were around 1.4 for over a month. And then last week, they took a drastic turn under 1.4 into the 1.3 sem-odds. You don't want to lose that many viewers this close to WrestleMania during WrestleMania season. So this is a saving grace for the USA Network and Hunter to have The Rock back. However, is it becoming too much of a tired shtick? The Rock just shows up, does a bunch of useless bullshit or says a bunch of useless garbage, rides off, and everybody is confused. Just asking, because a lot of fans are questioning, is he showing up just to announce WrestleMania will be in New Orleans? Is he showing up to give us the gate for that night's events, the numbers? How much revenue is WWE bringing up as a board of director table member that Dwayne sits at? Is he going to give us some metrics on how business is booming? Or is he going to help business, creative, actually boom? These are just questions BC and a lot of individuals have. Rock shows up tonight. We're going to talk about it. I got the SmackDown preview for you guys tonight. Bunch of matches were announced. There's one huge thing missing from tonight. We'll talk about it. I have the NXT rating for you guys. I have AEW Dynamite's number for you guys. We're going to talk Ricky Starks opening up on why he believes he got Das Boot from AEW television. And he narrows it down to veterans. BC had one name in mind, but I didn't even think about another. Was it one of the two or was it both of these veterans that did not want Ricky Starks in that locker room? We'll talk about it, what Ricky said and what the conclusion that BC is coming to. Sonya Deville is opening up about her release, or should I say WWE's decision not to bring her back, being told one thing and then being totally caught off guard, shocked by them not renewing their deal. It's the same thing we've been hearing though, right? I'll tell you what Sonya said, and then we're going to talk about it. Big signing for TNA, former WWE star, now holding concerts in TNA through this little weird portal relationship. You could see this dude back in WWE, I guess. But TNA brought in a dude that most of us enjoyed this dude's work. It's a shame that creatively they were never really to give this dude the ball. But we'll talk about that as well. And a host of other things I don't want to give to. In case this goes over an hour, I got to cut those stories that I'm not going to tell you in the cold open teaser, all right? Those will be bonus stories because I really do only have about an hour. Yesterday's amped up, an hour and 16 minutes. You guys rocked it out. The average audience retention was 51 minutes in the last 12 hours. The last 12 hours, guys, and an hour and 16 upload. Hour and 16 minutes. 51 minutes was the average audience retention. You guys knocked it out of the park, man. No pun intended for opening day for spring training, by the way. My New York Yankees versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Opening day, any baseball fans out there, man. Spring training opening day. Got to sport the NY interlock. But you guys, man, that's number one in the community by a landslide. On an hour and 16 minutes, you're not going to see a 51-minute audience retention. So you guys made us number one in terms of captivating stories, captivating conversation, captivating discussions. And that's, as a creator, the best thing you could possibly hear. That people are not just clicking, but they are absolutely locked in, captivated by the talk. It's the greatest. It is the greatest compliment you can get for doing what BC does. I appreciate it, guys. You know what? We're going to do it yet again, and we're going to do it right now. With all these discussions, no more time to waste. It's 44 dive. We rolling. BC's going to get a swig of his Folgers, and we're going to start rocking out. Let's do this. The best spot of waking up. It's Folgers in your cup. Folgers. It's in your motherfucking cup. As I said, if there's any baseball fans out there, happy opening spring training day to you. At least for my Yankees it is. I don't know if maybe your team was yesterday or tomorrow, but for the Yankees it is today. We just got that right before recording, 4-0. We just whooped that ass, Tampa Bay Rays. So, big news to my Yankees. We're allowing beards this year. This is the first season the Yankees have allowed beards on their players. For those that don't know, the old boss, George Steinbrenner, he laid down a law, basically, many moons ago, a rule that you cannot wear a beard. You cannot have a beard if you are a player for the Yankees, a coach, anybody in that organization. So until this season, you could not have a beard. If you had stubble, they would yell at you. Get your ass into that bathroom. Here's a razor. So that's big news, man. A lot of fans are upset. They feel like that's a rule that made the Yankees prestigious. There's other fans that are saying, get with the times, dude. Beards are a way for people to show that individual character. And if they can't feel like themselves, they're not going to play like themselves. I don't know. I will say this. There was players that were not coming to New York because they didn't want to shave their beard. That's where it became an issue, guys. And I think that's where this new management had to think about that. Hal Steinbrenner. Anyway, it's the BC podcast, bro. It's amped up. We talk all things, whatever I like. Let's get into some pro wrestling, though. Let's talk Shane McMahon, Tony Khan. This is a wild story. So you guys remember there was a couple meetings not far back. One that was well documented because there was a photo taking of Shane and Tony at an airport. In this private room, this dude came in, snapped a shot. Looked like Shane was not happy about it. Tony was thrilled. Tony's like, hey, any publicity is good publicity. Shane McMahon's like, damn, dude, what are you doing? But more info coming out. First, I want to tell you this is going to be an odd name, but hold up. Before you question the legitimacy of this person, I'm actually going to back that, or another source that is more reputable is going to back this up. So let me tell you what Jonathan Coachman says about the Shane McMahon meeting. Remember Jonathan Coachman? Okay, this is what he says, and I quote, I have it on good authority that Shane McMahon was ghosted by Tony Khan, that Shane asked for the world, even equity in the company, and Tony ghosted Shane. Not the other way around. Shane didn't walk from Tony. And then you see Shane, now this is just Coachman's assessment, then you see Shane at the Super Bowl with his dad, and it's like he can't figure out what he wants to do. End quote. First of all, that's BS. He absolutely knows the one thing he does want to do. Stay away from Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Shane just does not get along with Hunter. While Vince was okay with Hunter getting with Stephanie, Shane was not okay with Hunter getting with his sister. Didn't like anything about it. Didn't like the circumstance that they built the relationship on, how it was done. Shane and Hunter, they just don't mix. So for those wondering, how bad must it be that he can't just find a position right now in WWE? How bad must it be would it have been with Vince, and now with Vince gone? I mean, it's Hunter right there, man. You could get anything you want from Hunter. He does not want anything to do with it so badly that he would go and have conversations with Tony Khan, the rival organization. Now, for those thinking, what the Jonathan Coachman, what does he know, man? Well, this is interesting. Fightful confirms that Shane did want to run AEW. They don't have other details that they can distribute at this time. But Fightful can confirm that what they had heard from multiple sources is that Shane McMahon wanted to run AEW. That's the quote that was given from Fightful. Shane wanted to run AEW. And then Coachman sounds pretty sure of himself, what he is hearing and who he's hearing it from. For Coachman to say, I have it on good authority, Shane was ghosted by Tony Khan because he was asking for the world. He wanted equity in the company. So Coachman's hearing on good authority, sounds sure of himself that he wanted equity in the company. Fightful is confirming what we're hearing is that he did want to run a big part of AEW. So I think we can come to the conclusion Shane McMahon was trying to get a sweet-ass deal and work for the rival, go against his sister's husband, his brother-in-law, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And it just didn't come to fruition. Tony Khan did not want to give anything to Tony. So it's an interesting concept. We'll get more details on it, obviously, but it looks like a lot of this does reign, at least in the general direction of straight truth. So is that the right call from Tony Khan, right? I mean, you have Shane McMahon right there ready to do business. Your numbers were going down even at that time last year. This would be the juggernaut story to change a lot. I'm not saying it move the needle 300,000-400,000 viewers up front, or would it even move 100 to 200,000? I don't know. But it's definitely something you could build, a nucleus, a centerpiece, something that you could build, a foundation that you can build around. To have Shane McMahon, that is a wealth of various categories of knowledge, man. So did Tony Khan botch that by not working with Shane and maybe not giving equity in the company, but maybe some creative insight, some creative juice power? Or Tony made the absolute right call. Do not let a McMahon in. I don't even care if it's Shane. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll turn your boat around. You'll sail in the right direction. Look, here we are a year later in AEW Dynamite. It's hurting, right? It's in the 500,000s in viewership. AEW is pulling away a bit. Now looking back at it, you could say, yeah, man, they could have really used Shane McMahon. But at that time, even though they were going backwards, it wasn't bad enough that you give away equity or you give away creativity in your company. If this was just a wrestler, it's an automatic no. We've seen what wrestlers do to companies, right? When Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and all them have creative power in WCW, it crashed. And it's the same thing when you give that power to too many individuals in TNA wrestling. When TNA started to get some momentum, the wrestlers gained control, flatlined it. AEW, some wrestlers start to make their own decisions, too many chefs in the kitchen. You're going to end up burning some meals. Talent running companies, never good. I don't like Hunter Helmsley, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, Jesse James. I don't like DX running creative for WWE because it's clearly not working. Michaels might be the best out of them. We know what Road Dogg has done for years. I don't care if Vince was his boss or Hunter. We've seen what his creativity consists of. And Hunter, for the last 2 years, he's been running the ship into the ground. Talent, no, but Shane is more than just talent. Shane has been in every avenue of that business, starting out as a referee, did a little bit of broadcasting, did everything you could think of backstage, has seen and heard, and been involved with everything backstage. Man, to have him a part of AEW, that's a new one, man. All Elite Wrestling Entertainment. Oh boy, if they ever merge, BC just gave you a freebie. No trademark, no copyright. Not just name recognition. Shane McMahon. I don't know. I could run in circles with this conversation because the more I talk about it, the more I just start to think about the possibilities. But if he was asking for the world, Tony Khan is in no position this early on, at that point, just 5 years into this, to be given a McMahon any type of power. So I'm split on this, man. I would try to find a way to work with Shane that I don't have to give away the farm. That's where I'll leave it at. I don't know how you guys feel about it. If you had the chance, numbers were going backwards, business was stagnant, and you got Shane McMahon in front of you wanting to do business. Do you give him a piece of the world and see if you can do business, or do you tell the dude to walk? Interesting. Let's move on. Let's talk TNA's newest acquisition. So, Elijah, formerly known as Elias in WWE, showed up to TNA Wrestling last night. It was a Joe Hendry segment. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I don't know. BC's had a lot of coffee, man. What can I tell you? Joe Hendry, concert. The Colognes, I believe, like jump them, and all of a sudden Elias comes to the aid to make the save for Joe Hendry. And then there's like a duo concert, man. There's a photo where both of them are ready to jam out. I don't know if they actually did. I didn't see a full clip, but pretty cool. And through this little portal relationship with TNA Wrestling, NXT, WWE, wouldn't that be something if you see Elias in a roundabout way? But it doesn't matter how you get to that destination sometimes, as long as you get to that destination. Does he show up to NXT? Like Elias, man, like you talk about full circle. That's where the dude started many moons ago. Cool to see Elias, man. Elijah. Sonya Deville. Let's move on to Sonya Deville. Sonya opening up about her release, or WWE not renewing that contract, I should say. And she has a new podcast, I believe, new show with her significant other, her partner, Tony. I think it's called Daria and Tony. I think she is Daria, and her partner in life is Tony, another beautiful female that she is with. And they started this little show, and I guess the first episode is talking about WWE not bringing her back, not offering her another contract. And she is stating that she was shocked by it. That is an actual quote. Shocked, still doesn't know exactly why. She was told right up until that call that they were keeping her. A new contract. They were working things out. She was like on the treadmill. She saw the number pop up. She was like, oh, they probably have like a finalized offer, because that's the lack of transparency in this company. They will tell you one thing to make everything sound like a bed of roses, and when you turn around, they'll hit you with the sledgehammer. Sonya thinking everything was great. Nobody's telling her anything's wrong. She's doing just fine. We got a new contract being written up. Stay by the phone. Ring. Oh, we're not going to bring you back. Check you. Deuces, ooses. Salute. Another superstar saying they were shocked, and they still, not just shocked, another superstar saying, and I quote, they still don't know exactly why. Sound familiar? The Dijaks, the Camerons, the Baron Corbins. The list goes on and on with all of these talents getting released, fired, contracts not renewed, but they were told everything was good. We're bringing you back. No issues. You're doing great. Hunter giving you those Papa speeches, and the second you turn around, it's a sledgehammer. And Hunter doesn't even tell them why. You were Papa H. You told them to trust in the system. Trust Papa H. Baron Corbin saying that right before he got released, Hunter walked up to him and said, you should be proud of yourself. You've accomplished a lot. I tell you guys, when you hear that in any company, run the other direction. Don't pick up the phone don't do anything, because they're going to release you. If you hear those words in any company, they're booting you. Be proud of yourself. You've accomplished a lot. Baron's like, nah, I thought he was just being cool, because Hunter is always, Hunter's always acted like he was in my corner. But when these superstars are released, Hunter wants nothing to do. Hunter doesn't even fucking know you at that point. You're out of the bubble. Hunter wants nothing to do with you. Says one thing to your face, turn around, you're getting a sledgehammer. That's the best way to put it. Sonya Deville is the latest superstar to say, I was shocked. I still don't know why. Never given a specific reason. Nobody's even, you know how horrible that is? Like, no, even if you're at a 9 to 5, you could ask your man, exactly what was it? You know, is it because I punched Fred right upside his dome piece? Is it because I took that ladder and instead of stocking that top shelf, I hit Dario in his dome piece? Is it because I just took the last 6 weeks off? No call, no show. Showed up and you told me I didn't have a job. What is it? At least there's a specific reason. This company gives you nothing. Awesome. You're doing great. Fired. Wait, what? Can you tell me? But Hunter cares about his wrestlers, basically. Okay. Don't ever get released, fired, or no contract extension because you'll never know why. They'll tell you everything you want to hear until you're out of their bubble, and then they don't want nothing to do with you. You are not going to get a word. Speaking of, this is interesting. I want to switch gears and go over to AEW and talk Ricky Starks. Same situation. Well, different situation, but still lack of transparency. Ricky is with the company. Ricky is under contract. Ricky's getting paid. Right? This is just Sonya not getting that contract extension or renewal. Ricky is under contract. Ricky's not being used. He knows people in upper management, Tony Khan, not happy with him, and they're not giving him any reasons as to why he's not on TV, why he's not being used. Ricky didn't know a specific reason. So this led to the events we have now where Ricky's in NXT. He's not even a part of AEW. Ricky Starks is Ricky Saints. Ricky recently opening up about why he believes he wasn't used on TV. Not just that, he is telling us why he was frustrated in AEW and what led to some of these events. Ricky Starks said, and I quote, "People in AEW stuck their nose in my business. Veterans," end quote. People in AEW were sticking their nose in his business. He later on also calls it his creative. They were sticking his nose in his creative business. So, and then he follows it up with veterans. He gives us a huge indication as to exactly who. Because it can only be two names, guys. When you're thinking about the veterans, it comes down to two, really. It would only be one. But don't forget, Edge had come back around that time. And don't forget that heated promo, totally off script, by the way, between Cope and Starks. But he says veterans were sticking their nose in my business and in my creative. And then he alludes in that same interview, by the way, he talks about how it was to make themselves look better, not just to stifle my momentum. Help their own creative, make them look better. Guys, the first name that would pop up is obviously Chris Jericho. When Jericho does not like you, that's it. Very petty like that. And Jericho would be the first person, and there was obviously those reports way back of hostility between Jericho and Starks. But a lot of people seem to believe it is Edge, Adam Copeland. You guys remember that promo they were doing. And Ricky Starks, Saints, was talking to Bryan Danielson. And he makes an off comment to Edge that was in the ring, Copeland. And he says, "Stop looking at me with those bug eyes." Something like that. Copeland did not like that. Edge didn't like that. So he referred to him as like a bootleg Rock. Remember, he called him a vanilla midget bootleg Rock. A poor man's Rock. Something like that, guys. Live on TV. This was live. And then Ricky looks at the crowd and goes, "Whoa, that really sent me over the edge." mentioning Edge when he can't use that name. He's Adam Copeland. He does not want the name Edge even associated. Copeland was pissed. That's like real. We know that for a fact. Copeland was pissed. The word going around why that Copeland was so heated was because of the phrase over the edge. And I believe, don't quote me on this, because I can't recall it even now, just like I couldn't when I heard that that's why people believe he was so heated. Over the Edge is where Owen passed away. I think that was called Over the Edge. And because so that's near and dear to a lot of these wrestlers, and they don't want that phrase like just thrown out there. That's what we heard. Some of you guys may think, oh, that's stupid reason to be pissed. He can never say over the edge. But that's what we were hearing because Copeland was really pissed off. And people are like, just for him saying that really sent me over the edge. He just mentioned your old ring name. But it could be because of the Owen. Perhaps we'll never know. But that was a real kind of offhanded promo. It went off script and Copeland was not happy and Starks, Saints, was clearly caught off guard. He actually says in a recent interview, not in this one, he actually did talk about that. And he was talking about how like he had to like reel himself in because he wanted to keep going jab for jab, but he knew it was going to be completely off track. So he said he had to reel it in. Over the Edge was a light dig to what he could have and wanted to do. So it's interesting. And now he does say that people stuck their nose in his business, veterans. Guys, we can only, not to say that there's not other veterans. You can call the Young Bucks veterans. Again, Bryan Danielson was around. There's so many veterans. But I would have, if not for this Edge stuff, this Copeland, I would have said Chris Jericho for sure. And he does say veterans, not with one N. He says an S, veterans. So maybe it was a combination, Jericho and Copeland. You know, we don't want to speculate, and at this point, that's kind of what we're doing, but he gave us enough of that carrot that we can kind of just like smell it and taste it, you know? Is it Copeland or Jericho or both? But I think we've narrowed it down to one of those two or both is the reason that Ricky Starks, and of course, they got big pull with Tony Khan. So right there, if they say they don't want to share a locker room with him, they don't want to do business with him, they don't want him on TV, Tony Khan is most likely going to oblige. Try to find out more on that info. Maybe Ricky Saints will open up even more as time goes on. Speaking of AEW NXT, I got the numbers for both shows this week. NXT this week drew a 15% decrease from last week. 801K last week, 689,000 this week. That is a 112,000 viewer drop in just 1 week. Whoa. I didn't think it was a bad show. It was heavily focused on the ladies, but a lot of times that's not a detriment for NXT. A lot of times NXT will see good rating spikes with the focus on the ladies. So I'm not sure exactly. Ricky Starks had his debut with Ethan Page. I'm not exactly, signing his contract. Yeah, I'm not sure. You had Moose. I'm not saying the world knows who Moose is. If that's the case, TNA's ratings would be through the roof. I understand that. But I thought it was a pretty damn decent show. Not saying good. I'm not getting carried away. But it was watchable for sure. 112,000 viewer drop. I wasn't seeing that coming. 689 for NXT. Down from 801. So they're back into the 600s. AEW Dynamite. A 3% drop from last week. 579,000 last week. 563K this week. That is a 16,000 viewer drop. So 563 for Dynamite. I believe that's their lowest for a straight up edition of Dynamite. I believe. So what you're looking at now, 3% drop for AEW, 15% for NXT. The gap is now 73, 83. Roughly 126,000 viewer gap between NXT and AEW. That used to be in favor of AEW. It is now firmly in favor of AEW, or of NXT, my bad. So NXT now has that favorable position over AEW. A nice little cushion. But they have to be careful. One really good week of Dynamite could put them at 6, And if they lose another 26,000-ish, you'd be at 660. You'd be at a 63,000 advantage. Just giving you guys some numbers. It's not that wide open yet. I thought Dynamite was pretty damn decent to even good at times this week too, but that tells you that it's going to take a lot for that audience to come back. SmackDown to... No, I went over Elias and TNA, right? I hope I already went over that. Yes, it was a big concert. Joe Hendry, Elias... I think I went over that. I recall it. Told you I had a lot of coffee. Maybe not enough coffee. Is there ever enough coffee? SmackDown tonight. The big headline is The Rock returning. Ratings are rocky. I'm going to keep using that line. So Dwayne is coming back. Now, this isn't Hunter probably trying to get Dwayne. This is Dwayne telling Hunter, I am showing up in New Orleans. And Hunter's like, all right. Hunter's like the little, he's like the little brother. All right, dude, do whatever you want. Hunter may think he's the boss, but when Dwayne shows up, nah. Literally, final boss. So everyone's waiting on what Rock wants to do for his plans. I'm beyond that, guys. I don't need Rock to show up at all this WrestleMania. I'm already beyond that. It would have been great, but I'm already beyond that. And I think the last several appearances from The Rock kind of ruined it. There's nothing left, man. He absolutely pissed on the Cody storyline. Fans ruined the Roman Reigns Rock storyline in the match that we could have got last week because Cody needs to finish his story. So that was completely stupid. So Cody has held the title for a year. I don't know if there's anything memorable or anything I'm going to remember, but I could have had Rock and Roman last year. I don't know. I don't know what's left. You know what I mean? So is he going to show up tonight and actually declare something for Mania? Or is he just going to do what Rock always does? Be announced as a special host for WrestleMania? Is he going to show up and say WrestleMania next year is going to be in New Orleans? Because that's where they're at tonight. Is he going to show up and tell everybody that it's a sellout and that the new gate is the highest revenue that has ever been brought into that arena? Is he going to talk about more metrics and Jey Uso t-shirt sales? Any metric where the business is booming for WWE. Is that what The Rock is going to say? Or is he going to say something of substance? He's claiming he's showing up there to fuck with somebody up front, right? I think that's what he, in a follow-up post. His first statement was this. This was a Rock quote. This is when he announced to everybody that he's showing up tonight. Rock says, bold and disruptive, unpredictable and dangerous. The final boss returns live on SmackDown tonight. Then Helmsley sent out a post. Hunter Hearst Helmsley says, and I quote, strap in. When the final boss shows up at this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant. End quote. What is this dude talking about, Hunter Helmsley? Everything can change in an instant, he says. Dude, there's nothing to change. You haven't set anything up, bro. We have a weird Charlotte match where she's probably going to get her 85th title over Tiffany. Tiffany will be done dirty. You got Jason Uso and Gunther in a rematch of a rematch of a rematch just so we can yeet. There's nothing else, bro. What's he going to change? What's he going to change? There's nothing. Is he going to put himself in the chamber? He's not doing that, man. He's got huge movies coming up. He's not putting himself around, surrounding himself with a fence. So does The Rock announce live gate numbers tonight? Maybe Mania New Orleans, Jey Uso merchandise sales, who knows? Or does he do something of relevance? Maybe he'll announce Nick Khan's new contract salary, right? Congratulations, Nick Khan has just set record contract salary numbers. Changing the game for upper management. We laugh, we kid because we care. We do want this to be special. We're hoping Rock brings some type of, substance, not just electricity. We understand the dude comes out and everybody's captivated because he's polarizing. Back in the Attitude Era, we had a lot of those type of individuals. Polarizing individual after polarizing individual after polarizing individual. Nowadays, nobody is. So The Rock will come out and he'll electrify and people will be like, whoa, it's The Rock. Absolutely. We'll be glued at watching at home or in the bar or at a friend's house. You'll be glued. But what is this really going to do? It's Mania season. Everybody's waiting for The Rock. I don't know why, but you got him tonight. It better be special. Is he going to try to rekindle a Cody Rhodes feud? Because he pretty much pissed on that at, what was it, Bad Blood, I believe? Pretty much pissed all over that when they shook hands, hugged it out, and toasted in the parking lot. Sharing some tequila. I don't know why Cody would be so quick to shake the dude's hand and hug it out when he beat him in front of his ma, and I don't understand why Cody would do that, but then again, I saw Cody shake Gunther's hand too, and remember all the trash that Gunther talks, so Cody just wants to smile and shake everybody's hand. He's the perfect person for the mutual respect era. Tonight's lineup, aside from The Rock, guys, is DIY versus Pretty Lively. That is going to be for the tag titles. There's going to be a 6-man tag, speaking of the aforementioned Cody Rhodes, with Damian Priest and Braun Strowman versus the Bootleg Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonka Truck. 6-man tag. I'll go make a coffee, go play in traffic, go pick up a bad habit. I have no interest in seeing a boring-ass 6-man tag, meaningless filler. It is filler. I'd rather a 20-minute promo segment try to hype up a storyline. A 6-man tag with Cody still playing around with the Bootleg Bloodline. Yes, that's what we want during Mania season. And then Jim Uso will take on Drew McIntyre. Those are the matchups. As of this recording, guys, they're not saying anything about the females. Now, by the time you guys get this upload, we'll probably have something for the females. But as of this recording, they're not promoting anything. It's almost like they're doing it in spite. We know how petty this company is. You guys saw the upload yesterday. The female talent in WWE is pissed off. The word is they are frustrated, not just with their booking or lack thereof for Mania. They're frustrated because they don't even know if they're heels or faces. There's no transparency. And the way that Hunter is booking them, it's a detriment, and you're starting to hear more crickets than ever before. The women are pissed. There were sources backing that up. I gave you guys quotes. Somebody in that locker room, a female speaking out to Fightful, and then all of a sudden they didn't want to promote any female content for tonight. You'll get some, obviously, but it's just funny that all day I was waiting for them to pump something out, nothing. It's almost like they're doing it in spite. Very odd. Guys, that's what I got for you, man. I had a little bit less time than yesterday, but we still packed that punch, man. Packed, jacked, and stacked. Until next time, there will be that next time. The SmackDown review, less than 24 hours away. Stay locked on the channel. Subscribe, notified, smash that up. Do all the things. And I will be right back with that massive amplified SmackDown review. Inching closer to Mania. There's no mulligans. We're not pulling any punches. We're smack dabbing it out. 44 dive straight up the middle. That's a wrap. BC saying salute. Check you.